Hello, I'm Bill Jones, and welcome to VYPE TV, a show that highlights local athletes, their schools, and their communities. On today's show, it's a day of high school football championship games in North Texas. We'll preview the games that should keep you on the edge of your seat today. We have an exclusive, in-depth interview with Landry Award finalist and COPPELL star running back MCDANIEL. If you're looking for a role model for young players, you won't want to miss this. And we'll speak with our recruiting expert, David McNabb, about the power of the playoffs. More games that meant great opportunities for overlooked athletes. Well, it is a big day for high school football in North Texas. 3 local teams have a chance to be state champions by the end of the day. Their combined record an amazing 84-6, and these teams can add to their growing legacies today. All the games being played at Cowboys Stadium in Arlington, and should be great games to watch. And here to talk about them, Tim Polzer, editor-in-chief for VYPE magazine. Thanks once again for being here. Been here throughout the season, and Cowboys Stadium with a triple-header today after a doubleheader last night. I'm just wondering how many fans are going to make their way to Arlington today.
If they're smart, a lot of them, because I know I'm on my way right after this, and I just can't think of a better way to end a season than a triple-header at Cowboys Stadium. TV audience, it's just the way to go out for the holidays.
Not to mention the lower classifications are playing in Mansfield as well. So all the state champions in the state of Texas are being crowned this weekend right here in the Metroplex. So let's get started with one of the 5A battles today. The state championship game between Denton Guyer and Cibolo Steele. The Knights of Cibolo Steele, which is from the San Antonio area, featuring Malcolm Brown, a running back who's committed to the University of Texas. It will be at 4 o'clock this afternoon at Cowboys Stadium. What a game this should be.
It should be. You know, Guyer came off that amazing win last week against Longview, and really kind of exercised some demons, I think, with Longview, and so they should have some momentum coming into this game against a really tough running back with Malcolm Brown.
Yep, and of course, Guyer has J.W. Walsh and Josh Stewart, both committed to Oklahoma State. They've also got Quentin Gardner, who caught the game-winning touchdown pass right there against Longview after a block punt set that up. What an amazing game that was, and you were there to see it, weren't you?
I was there. I had like one foot in the press box elevator and one foot still in my seat.
You're giving up on it, huh?
Not quite giving up, but I was really happy to see that. It's always great to have area teams make that final, and so we were really happy at VYPE to see them win.
And, of course, Guyer, the trip to state, the last 3 wins for them, huge over Abilene Cooper, and then they beat South Lake Carroll, a district rival, and then Longview. They were down 27-21, got a block punt with 25 seconds left in the game, and on the very next play, Walsh threw that touchdown pass to win it 28-27. Should be a big day for the city of Denton as well. Not only Guyer, but Ryan playing in the state championship game today. We'll get to the Ryan Raiders shortly. Let's talk Trinity Trojans right now as they play the nightcap tonight at 8 o'clock against the Pearland Oilers. And you talk about 2 superpowers meeting in a state championship game. 5A Division I certainly has it.
It is. I mean, Trinity, what can you say about them? They're just relentless. They came from behind and beat another Stony Point team that's really getting tired of losing to Trinity. I've been hearing all year that Pearland was going to beat Katy. People were looking at a Trinity-Katy matchup, so the undefeated Pearland team is going to give Trinity all they asked for.
Yeah, and of course the road to the state championship game for the Trinity Trojans, a team that's been rated #1 in the nation by most of the national publications all year. They've had some close calls along the way, of course, against COPPELL, a game seen right here on TXA 21 a couple of weeks ago, the 41-40 game in the state quarterfinals, which they won on the final play of the game, the only time they led in that game on the final play of the game. And then last week against Stony Point down in Waco, I thought Stony Point might have their number, but Trinity just finds a way to win.
They do. They never give up. And you got playmaker like Brandon Carter, but you also have the offensive line and defensive line that just wears down opponents. A depth at running back that just wears them down. And in the crunch, Trinity they're not phased.
Yep, and when you talk about that running attack, of course, you got Terrence Toussaint, who had a big day last week against Stony Point. He has over 1,300 yards rushing on the season. With nearly 1,300 yards rushing on the season is Tevin Williams. But Brandon Carter, now he might be the best all-around player, most exciting player in the state.
He may be, especially in the playoffs. He's really shined. I mean, whether it's on offense, he can throw the ball, he can run the ball, he can catch the ball, and he'll probably even play some D-back in key situations. So look for him to get an interception, too.
Now, having said that, Pearland and has a running back named Dustin Garrison who has over 2,700 yards rushing on the season. He's the Touchdown Club of Houston's Offensive Player of the Year, so he might have something to say about the most exciting player in the state.
Yeah, that Trinity defense will be tested against the run, but look for them to play up close and try to see if they can make Pearland throw the ball.
Okay, and that is the nightcap. Trinity Trojans against the Pearland Oilers. It all gets started just over an hour from now at Cowboys Stadium with a Class 4A title game. Denton Ryan, the Raiders of Coach Joey Florence, taking on Lake Travis, a team that seems to win the state championship every year in 4A.
They do. I think their, if I remember right, their motto is one more makes four. So that's 3 times. But Ryan's got a couple of state titles themselves, and I think you might see a low-scoring game here. Ryan's defense has been really key this year. Lake Travis has stumbled a bit, but they are getting their quarterback back.
Yes, Michael Brewer, the quarterback for the Cavaliers of Lake Travis. Of course, that's a school that has produced some fine quarterbacks. Of course, Garrett Gilbert was a National Player of the Year for Lake Travis prior to Michael Brewer. And Texas Tech fans, you might want to head out to Cowboys Stadium because Brewer quarterbacks Lake Travis. He's committed to Texas Tech. Interestingly enough, the former quarterback at Denton Ryan is now playing at Texas Tech, Scotty Young.
That's right. So these kids see each other at camps. They see each other in the off season, so they're no strangers to each other at the high school or the college level.
You know, and it really says something about Denton Ryan as you see the way they advanced all the way here, and what an exciting game against Wiley. They were up 25-7 in the fourth quarter. Wiley came back, made it 25-20, and faced a 4th and goal at the 1-yard line. A little low snap from center, and Ryan was able to come up with the defensive play. But it says a lot about Ryan. They lose the state player of the year in Scotty Young last year, and they make it to the state championship game this year.
They lose Young, and they were a really explosive offensive team last year. But this year, they're really relying more on their defense. That defense did step up, which is key in the playoffs.
And there's the 4th down play right there, and the celebration ensues for Joey Florence's team as the Ryan Raiders headed back to a state championship game. Of course, he did such a tremendous job, Florence did, in reviving that program back about 10 years ago.
He sure did. I mean, that whole Denton ISD is really, look for Denton though, to be much improved next year too. So you could have 3 teams that are really making news next year.
All right, Tim Polzer, get on out there to Cowboys Stadium.
I gotta go.
And he'll be tweeting all day as well. Where are you on Twitter?
We're at VYPE.com, DFW, Twitter. Just look on our website.
There you go. All right. Coming up next on VYPE TV. Didn't mean to throw a curveball at you.
All right.
We have a great interview with Cam McDaniel. He led the COPPELL Cowboys to an almost perfect season and is a great role model. If you're a fan of high school sports, you won't want to miss my discussion with this Landry Award finalist. And we'll speak with our recruiting expert, David McNabb. Teams making it deep into the playoffs have exposed some hidden talent. Hear which prospects have earned some serious attention lately. VYPE TV continues now as I am joined by Cam McDaniel, the senior running back from COPPELL High School. Welcome to VYPE TV, Cam.
Yes, sir.
Well, I got to ask you about this, what has been really a memorable season for COPPELL High School. I mean, when you look back in the annals of COPPELL football history, there's never been a team like this one. How proud does it make that you're part of the best team in COPPELL history?
It's absolutely amazing. I mean, to see how far this team has come and to just be a part of it since freshman year, man. We were 10-0, and we just knew that we had something special. We knew that we had a special class, and they just bought in and totally invested. I mean, all the investment that we put in throughout the off seasons for 3.5 years, and then when Coach McBride came in and sowed the vision of a state championship, everybody bought in, and everybody worked their tail off. And it was unlike anything that this program's ever seen before, the way that we worked and the way that we wanted it. And I mean, it breaks my heart to see the way how this thing kind of ended for us. But you know, there's so many victories that came even out of that loss, you know, with the community and the way that we got people to just believe in something that this community's never seen before. I mean, before this year, COPPELL has kind of been an average football team, I guess you could say. And that was something that we looked to really just transform and turn around and do things that the community had never seen before.
As we do this interview, it's just days literally after the loss to Trinity. What's it been like in the aftermath of that? The disappointment was obvious when Trinity scores on the last play of the game to spoil the dream, but At the same time, I'm sure you're getting some reaction from far and wide on what a great game and a great team that you have.
For sure. Well, I mean, I'm not going to lie, though, the loss is heartbreaking to lose like that. I mean, that's my second year in a row to lose on the last play of the game. And it was tough, but I mean, Trinity is a great football team. I mean, we have the utmost respect for that team and what they've done and their program, and they're a solid football team. And to go in there and play the way that we did, and play them for 4 quarters like we did, I don't think a team has played them for 4 quarters like COPPELL has, all the way down to the last tick of the clock. And I mean, we wanted to give it everything we had, and we fully believed that we could win that game. Not that we're cocky, but we just expect to win when we go out on the field. We have that trust in each other, just like brothers that go into battle have trust in each other in our military. And that's kind of how, our motto going in was finish the mission. And I mean, we fully intended to finish the mission. And I mean, we gave it everything we had. We left it all on the field, and I mean, that's all you can ask for at the end of the day.
Of course, Cam had a very impressive senior year with the Coppell Cowboys. Cam's 1,906 rushing yards, 37 touchdowns, helped lead Coppell to its best record in school history. McDaniel is currently rated as the 13th best rusher in the nation, and his hard work is leading to a promising college career. When VYPE TV continues, we'll show you part 2 of our Cam McDaniel interview. Find out who has recruited him to play next year and why he's an inspiration to his community beyond the playing field.
The November issue of VYPE High School Sports Magazine breaks down our list of the area's top 20 running backs, as well as which area football teams may make a run to a state title. You'll also find an inside look at prolotherapy, a high school athlete's alternative to surgery, and a look back at Highland Park State Team tennis title. Get your free copy of the November VYPE High School Sports Magazine on racks today.
2 weeks ago, Coppell High School lost to Euless Trinity in a last-second heartbreaker. But a few days earlier, Cam McDaniel made a big decision. He verbally committed to play next year for Notre Dame. Here's part 2 of our interview with the star running back from Coppell when we spoke to him the night of the Landry Award presentation.
Coach Brian Kelly came down to actually see me and my friend Bennett Okacha, who actually committed as well. And just tremendous dream come true. I mean, Notre Dame is absolutely phenomenal football program, of course. The tradition, the history, everything about the school is just unbelievable. And then to get a coach like Coach Kelly that's coming in and really turning that program back into a perennial powerhouse, that's just an opportunity I could not pass up.
When I talk to Coach McBride, he talks about your leadership, not only on the field, but off the field too, and you're a spiritual leader of your team as well. Tell me the importance that you place on helping disciple kids at your school, and understand that you even lead Bible studies in some of the area schools too.
Yes, sir. Well, I mean, football is a game that I'm very passionate about, but in the long run, for me, it's all about preaching the gospel all over the world. I mean, that's what we're called to do as Christians. I mean, that was Jesus' great commission, was to go, therefore, and preach the gospel to all the world, heal the sick, heal the lame, cast out devils, all that good stuff. And I mean, that's what I think being a Christian is all about, being authentic. And not only just proclaiming that you're a Christian, but I mean, walking it out and discipling. I mean, that's a huge part of who we are as Christians. We're called to disciple. And so football is great, but it's just a platform to disciple kids and show him what he's really all about, and that he's a winner. And no matter if you win or lose in the natural, you're always going to win in the supernatural. I mean, if you have Jesus Christ. And I mean, that's what I'm all about.
And finally, you're a Landry Award finalist. What does it mean to you to be a Landry Award finalist, and how much do you know about Coach Landry?
Well, I'm a third-generation coach's son, and anybody that is a coach's son or knows coaches pretty well knows Coach Landry, because Coach Landry is one of the best coaches there ever was. His character, absolutely tremendous. Everything that he did for the Dallas Cowboys program and the city of Dallas, and just coaches, I guess, all over the nation. And his leadership is still, his leadership techniques are still implemented into programs and into kids today. So that just shows that, I mean, he just left a tremendous legacy here. And to to be honored as one of the candidates for this award is absolutely humbling. I mean, when you look at the other kids on this list and the names that are on this list, I mean, there are some absolutely unbelievable players and leaders that are here tonight, and just absolutely just a blessing to be in that list and be in that elite group of kids, and just very excited and very blessed.
All right, Cam, congratulations on a great career at Coppell. Good luck at Notre Dame.
Thank you very much, sir.
I vote Cam McDaniel most likely to succeed. I think he could play for Coach Landry. There's more to come on VYPE TV. When we return, we'll take a look at some great talent that remains hidden until the playoffs. Our resident recruiting expert, David McNabb, joins us when VYPE TV continues in just 2 minutes. Time for this week's recruiting update here on VYPE TV. And with that, we welcome in, as usual, David McNabb, VYPE recruiting expert, author of the weekly McNabb Report. Welcome once again, David.
Thanks a lot. It's been a nice 16 weeks.
Yes, it has. And it wraps up today with a big triple header at Cowboys Stadium. And, you know, in recruiting, so much is taken care of even last spring with the seniors this year. But it's interesting to see what happens and how certain guys get on the college radar even as the playoffs proceed.
Yeah, I mean, the more exposure a player gets, the more it can help them. A couple years ago, a classic example would be Kendall Lawrence, a running back from Rockwall Heath, who really had no offers. He's a small kid, but by the time he got through the playoffs and played better competition, Missouri offered late. He said, "You bet." Now he starts for Missouri. Yeah. And there's a couple of kids that's happening to now.
Let's get into a couple of those players you're talking about. Denton Geyer, wide receiver. Quint Gardner, he had the game-winning touchdown reception last week in that unbelievable comeback against Longview. That'll get you on the map, but he was already on some recruiters' map, right?
You know, he's a kid. I mean, obviously Geyer, they see a lot of those players. He's been seen at a lot of camps, but it's his playmaking ability in big games that's bumping up his athleticism. You know, his 4.55 is maybe dropping to a 4.5 because of his acrobatic catches, his big play ability. So the Minnesotas, the Iowa States, the Baylors, the Houstons, they're really starting to pay attention to him, and I'm sure he'll end up with a major college scholarship. And
of course, he plays on a team that has a couple of Oklahoma State recruits in J.W. Walsh and Josh Stewart. Aledo has the Landry Award-winning running back in Jonathan Gray, who's only a junior, but there's other reasons for recruiters to be looking at the Aledo Bearcats, right? The
Bearcats have other really good players. Their quarterback, Matthew Bishop's a junior, and he'll get recruited more. Obviously, the focus is on Gray, but their tight end, Justin Brashear, may be the second best athlete overall on a really athletic team, and that's really come through in the playoffs. I did the Aledo-Stephenville game, and that was at Baylor's Floyd Casey Stadium, and I know there were Baylor coaches there watching, and you could just, when they get to see him in person, he's a big kid, he moves well. They don't pass a lot, but he made a big catch there. So he's a kid that doesn't have a lot of offers, but I think by the time signing day rolls around, we'll sign with a big school.
You know, it's interesting about tight ends, because with the spread offenses, there was a time there where offenses weren't even using tight ends. Now you see it employed even in the spread system, and there's a guy that's gotten on the map at Trinity, Nila Kasatati, who's caught a couple of those end-around fourth down passes from Brandon Carter. He's his favorite target, it seems like.
Yeah, and Neal is one of those guys that had committed early to Baylor, so he's been on the radar, but he's made such big plays, and I think he was being recruited more as a guy who will be a tackle once he gets to college, but he's showing he actually can play tight end and can move well enough.
That'll open up the eyes of an offensive line coach.
That
the
will.
Guy's got that kind of feet and that kind of athleticism.
So I think Baylor's going to have a hard time holding on to him because of the extra exposure that he's got.
All right, those are some of the big school recruits that are making an impact in the postseason. How about Grapevine Faith Christian School's Peter Ashton?
You know, and this may be a guy that is the absolute steal of the Metroplex. He committed early to Oregon State, who had heard about him. Parish Episcopal, which won the state title, played them, and Scott Natty is the parish coach, and he had coached in Northern California. And after they played him, he said that Ashton, they're a different kind of player, but he's the best high school athlete that he's coached against since he played Maurice Drew Jones at De La Salle in Northern California. I mean, that's quite a compliment. And the word's starting to get out about Ashton. He's not a natural quarterback, but that's what he plays. but they're starting to see that, you know, as a DB wide receiver, he's a big time prospect.
We're seeing more and more players come out of the TAP schools as well. You mentioned Dallas Parish Episcopal. Charles Cook, tell me about him.
You know, he's a kid that set a TAPS record with 16 interceptions. And it really doesn't matter where you're playing. One kid that has 16 interceptions, you kind of go, well, let me look at the kid. And the Ivy Leagues, we're looking at him. He has really good grades, really smart. And SMU has come over and is visiting with him. And June Jones is doing so well at SMU. Whenever he kind of starts looking at somebody now, other people start making sure they have interest.
Maybe we need to get in
so,
on that.
you know, the Vanderbilts, Northwesterns, and the Minnesota, the Iowa States, they're starting to show interest in Charles as well.
Final 10 seconds here. Malcolm Brown playing for Cibolo Steel this afternoon at Cowboys Stadium. Still a strong commit to Texas?
Seems to be strong commit to Texas. It was always Texas or Alabama. Seems to still be Texas, but there's lots of changes in coaches and moving around, and that's what makes recruiting and that signing date an important benchmark.
And you can play scout. Head out to Cowboys Stadium like David McNabb has done all season long and see for yourself some of these terrific college recruits. Great day at Cowboys Stadium today. David McNabb, we appreciate you joining us as usual this week here on VYPE TV, and we thank you for joining us as well this morning. We'll be back next week at 10:30 a.m. to bring you the best stories in North Texas high school sports. We leave you with more from COPPELL's star running back, Cam McDaniel. Have a great day.